Hello, and welcome to Coaching Corner with me, Tracy Forsyth. So, if you're already wondering what 2024 will bring, it might be useful to know that there's a new acronym about the state of the world. And this acronym is BANI, BANI, B-A-N-I. And it stands for Brittle, Anxious, Nonlinear, and Incomprehensible. Incomprehensible. So the concept was created by Jamais Cascio, I hope I'm saying that right, Jamais Cascio, an American author and futurist, to sum up how the world is, having been through all the various crises of the last few years. And so as I read it, BANI means these things: brittle. So companies and organizations might seem fine and strong on the surface, but one or two shocks and the whole thing starts to crack. Then there's anxious. Well, who wouldn't be anxious, what with everything that's going on in the world? I learned recently from another leadership conference I'm attending that Gallop, the poll people, did a mood of the world survey and found out that 7 out of 10 of the global population felt that they were struggling or suffering. I mean, that is a lot of people. So then we come to non-linear. Well, nothing much works the way it used to. The digital age has heralded new ways of working and operating in our lives and work, and it's ever changing. Who's read all the headlines about AI being the end of humanity as we know it? And finally, incomprehensible. More and more, we're faced with situations we're not used to, global pandemics, socio-political change, climate change, you name it. And a huge amount of information is coming at us 24/7. It's almost too much to take in and make sense of. So it's incomprehensible. So how do we get ready for this BANI world? How do we cope? Well, these are the things that I think. So number one is to be aware of it. Does BANI ring true to you? Brittle, anxious, nonlinear, incomprehensible? Or do you have your own acronym about what you see in the world today? Number two, be aware of how you're reacting or coping in these times. Just stop and take stock. Check in on yourself and then your family, your teams, the people you have around you. How are they? In terms of specifics, I can't say my S's today. In terms of specifics for brittle, I think we need to look at our foundations. Are our lives and businesses built on strong foundations, on purpose, on mission, on values that we're all signed up to? Or are they metaphorically, built on a house of cards? Also, do we have the resilience? Or do we have plan B and plan C for if the cracks begin to show or the whole thing comes tumbling down? For anxious, I think we need self-awareness and awareness of what others are going through. Compassion, empathy, understanding. We may not be able to solve the world's problems, but we can listen to and support one another through it. So anxious, I think it is really stop, pausing and processing what is going on and working out what it is that you're needing and what you can action. So number 5, non-linear. I believe this calls for the skills of adaptability and agility to change, and most certainly a mindset change about seeing change as an opportunity rather than a terror. I think key to this is understanding your own value and your own impact, the impact that you give, and knowing that you will be fine, whatever happens. And lastly, incomprehensible. I think this requires not only the honesty and transparency that we can't know all things all of the time. And that's fine. What we don't know, we'll find out. But also, I think it's about creating the space not to get overwhelmed and the ability to focus on what matters to you, to the company, again, purpose, mission. So I think take heart. It might be a BANI world, but I do believe we have or can develop the tools and qualities to tackle it and thrive, not just survive. As ever, I recommend you be fearlessly you. And if you don't know where to start, then call me. Take care.